Hey, Brenda.
Hello. Hi, everyone. So it's 6 p.m. on my clock here, so we will start.
Okay.
So welcome, everyone. This is being streamed to Facebook and is being recorded, so it's going to be a public reference in the future. So I have 3 items on my agenda. First, I will present the new planning page on the Township website that I created with lots of different information for planning, zoning, development. And then I will do an overview of the SDG County's mapping tool and the updating zoning for our township. And finally, there will be a question and answer period for any questions you might have. So please take note of your questions and just go ahead and ask anything at the end. All right, so I'll share my screen now. Sarah, it says again, the host disabled participant screen sharing. So can you activate that for me, please, Sarah? Okay, there we are.
I'm looking for this on Facebook. Can't seem to find it. Can you find it, Jeff?
Hasn't come up as a notification that it's on. We're live. We're streaming live.
Sarah's the host. She's working on that. She just sent me a message.
Oh,
Okay.
I see. Okay, thank
Either
you.
way, it's being recorded, so it can be posted later. So
Wonderful. Thank you.
you're welcome. So let's proceed to the township website. So anytime anyone has a planning inquiry, they can click on the bottom left-hand corner here. That's a new page, planning, development, zoning.
Oh, so that's new.
Yes, that's new. So before the information was there, but it was really scattered in different places and it was just hard to find. Even for myself after a year, I still had trouble. So I put it all together and it's easy to find.
Thank you, Kasia.
Yes. Good job.
Very much appreciated.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. So here you have just a nice picture of the Maxville zoning, just for visual purposes. Then you have zoning, bylaw, mapping, and forms. The first thing, link, it will take you to the applications, forms, licenses, and permits. So I will open that in a new tab. Oh no. Okay. So this page actually is all the application forms for the building department and the planning department and bylaw department. So it's all together.
Nice.
Excellent. Nice.
So this was actually there before, but it might have been hard to find. I know it was hard to find. But so you have severance forms, zoning amendment forms, minor variance application forms, and so on, as well as the various building forms. So
And Kasia, can those be filled in online and submitted online?
no, currently all the forms are in PDF and is not fillable. But you will need to download the form and use the Acrobat tool to fill it in using the Acrobat PDF, but not online itself. The forms are just not formatted that way. So it's no, basically.
Okay.
And then going back to the page I started with. So yeah, I described the different application forms that are available. Site plan control, I created a new form a couple months back with the manual describing what it is. So it's more comprehensive now. The North Glengarry zoning bylaw. So you can find the zoning bylaw text by clicking here. It takes us to the zone. It's so hard to navigate because this thing. I'll just do this there, easier. So it takes us to the zoning bylaw text. If you click here, the 2000
Okay.
zoning bylaw that we all know very well, and then the schedules here. Going back again. So it describes what the zoning bylaw is, and I provided a link to the Ministry of Housing description of a zoning bylaw. So this is a general provincial description for zoning bylaw, but it holds true for all bylaws. And it, as you can see, for example, it describes the zoning bylaw process, which is
Excellent.
useful. So I think I skimmed over one thing here. So what I also did is create a guide to the zoning bylaw amendment process, which is a nice formatting. This is a brochure, so it's available to the public. And the same is available for the minor variance, which is newly created. It describes how the process works step by step and how and when it can be considered minor, just to give a better idea of what minor means.
That's good.
Terrific.
Good. Okay.
Terrific.
So if
And so are those, Tasha, those brochures, they're available at the township as well, so people can pick them up at the township if they wanted a copy?
we have about 200 printed.
Okay,
So,
nice.
and if someone doesn't have Adobe Acrobat Reader, they can download it here.
Okay.
And so this is the second part of the agenda, interactive zoning map. So I will come back to it in detail. Basically, the GIS mapping tool containing zoning, official plan designation, and some other information. It is updated by the county, so we supply them with the information that should be updated based on zoning amendments, severances, and anything else. The committees, so these two items, very important. So when you click, for example, on the Committee of Adjustment, it takes you to the agenda schedule, and the public will be able to by clicking on these links. The same thing goes for the Planning Committee. You have the public and planning meeting schedule with the packages when you click on the links. Just going back, and then last item here, SDG County's plan. I'm sure all of you have seen it, but it takes us to the county's website. We have an official plan amendment application, which is also on the township website, general information and official plan documents and so on.
So it's all linked, which is great.
Yes, that's right.
That's great.
Just easier to find. So
Yeah.
Now we can move to the second part of the webinar, which is the interactive zoning map. So you can get there in a couple of ways. You can just click here. So this is the SDG County's mapping tool. And the important tab that we will discuss today is the community tab, community map. And just gonna go back here. So at a previous meeting, I discussed the guide that was produced. So the guide, which is in PDF format, it's very detailed, step by step, can be accessed by clicking the guide link I just clicked. So the same tool I just showed a minute ago can be accessed via this link here, if you click right here within the PDF. So moving forward.
So you have to go, you link?
Sorry?
You go guide you have to click on guide and then on the link.
There's two options. So either that or click directly here on the interactive.
Okay.
I think that's easier. But in case someone has the PDF copy sent by me or somebody else at the township, they can access from within the PDF too.
Okay.
So moving back to the mapping tool, this is what you will see. This is a public source with all public information.
Mine just asked me to sign in.
Sign in. Oh, that's strange. Okay, so what happened here? All right, so the community map. So how do you access information? Zoning. You click here, the layer list, second icon, and you will have a set of different information here.
Did anybody else lose the? Did you stop sharing your screen, Kasia?
Yeah, I
don't
just
see-
have. Yep.
Okay.
It looks like we have two members of the public on here. Doreen and George.
Okay. Let's see. Just going back here, what happened? I will share my screen again. I'm not sure why it disappeared. Okay,
There we go. Okay.
so you're able to see my screen again. Okay, so I'll go back to the map I was discussing. Okay, so the community map, it has the zoning, official plan information, and other information of interest. Okay, so you start by clicking to agree the terms. And again, so the first icon is for the legend. It describes what is available. And the second one is to access all the layers. So I will do an example by searching the township office address, 90 Main.
Mhm.
I just did mine. I don't exist.
So let's see, 90 Alexandria. There's a couple ways to find.
Okay.
You can zoom in, or yeah, usually just type in the number, wait, and it shows up. But for Main Street, you need to type in 90 Alexandria and then Main Street. It's just the way it's written. Okay, so we're looking at the Township Office property, and I will start from the bottom. So the aerial photo you see is from 2014. The counties are working on updating the drape. They actually finished the drape about a month ago, and it will be available in the next few months within the database here. So there will be a 2020 drape here.
Okay.
So the information that I use a lot for planning is closer to the bottom. So this app you see in front of you is quite similar to what I use at work, except I have extra information in terms of ownership and acreage and previous amendments and some other things. So for example, you search the property and you can see the parcel fabric right here. You can see the parcel roll number for all the lots. And there's other items like the township boundary, which I will need to zoom out really far, but you can imagine.
And how are you zooming in and out, Kasia, on this?
Very good question. So you can do it by scrolling with your mouse in and out, or use the plus.
Oh, okay, over there. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And just Kasia, one question. When you put the address in, you said you need to put in 90 Alexandria. What happens if you just put in 90 Main Street? What if you forget the Alexandria?
So I don't know why, but for Main Street in Alexandria, it will not work. That's the way it's programmed at the counties in their database. I just found this out by experience.
Okay, what does that, will that happen with other addresses in other areas?
It happens also in Maxville with Main Street, same thing.
Ah, okay. So have you made a note of that on the guide? Was people won't be able to get in, right?
Yes, we can add it to the guide, definitely. Or I can better tell the counties about this confusion.
Okay, very good.
Yeah, it'd be better to fix it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and I typed in my Civic and then waited a minute, and then my road came up with a capital. I hadn't put a capital. So I think until they get it fixed, at least if you start with your Civic or your road number, then it lists all the options that are available.
But you need to wait a few seconds for the list too.
That's right.
Okay. So if you zoom out, for example, you can see the settlement boundary area for Alexandria. And if you zoom out further, you can see the other hamlets and villages in Alexandria. We go to Maxville here. So what else can I show you? You have the Soil Canada land inventory. So this is especially important for classifying agricultural lands. So prime agricultural lands are class 1, 2, and 3 categories. So let's see. So this is the color coding or the legend. So if you want to find out what type of soil your land might have, this is where you could look. Again, this information is based on a study from the 1950s, but since it's geological data, it doesn't change. It's not like the weather, it remains pretty constant, so it's still accurate for the most part.
So your legend prime was orange or green?
Orange and light yellowish here, these two, 1, 2, and 3.
And they have the numbers on it as well, it looks like, so. Okay.
Okay, so I'll check this off because it's very heavy. And then the next item you can access is the lot and concession number. So at a high level, it looks like this. If you zoom in, you can actually see the concession number and lot number. So this is useful when the property description or the PIN number doesn't match. I can go and check through that. And finally, well, not finally, but the meaty part of the information.
Just if I can, Kasia, this is an interesting, a useful, I think, for council anyway. I'm sure it'll be useful for the public as well, because it gives you an image of the, we'll be able to use that at our planning meetings, right?
Yes, exactly.
That will be excellent.
So,
Cash, a question about lot numbers, or is lot number and civic number the same thing? Is that?
no, civic number is the address and lot number is part of the legal description. So it's not the same thing at all.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the zoning if there's no more questions for now. So let's look at Maxville. As I mentioned before, it was updated with the zoning amendments up until 2019, as well as the severances. So that's how it looks like right now. And in terms of zoning, let's see, where can we pick? How about here? So if you can access additional information for the zoning by clicking on the parcel, it will say the symbol and the designation open space, and it will have more info. So if you click here, it's going to launch the zoning bylaw again. Yeah. So this is just an easier way, instead of going to the website and looking at that link, it's right there. The one thing, this zoning bylaw is old, as everyone knows, so it doesn't unfortunately zoom in on the exact zone. It just goes to the same document.
Just takes you to there, okay.
But when the revised zoning bylaw is available, it will be linked to the specific zone, so it will be much easier to find the particular information. Okay. All right, so going back to here, let's see another example of a lot, R2 zone. So same thing, residential first density. Let's see an exception zone. There should be information for exception or why it's an exception. So this is a holding, okay. Agricultural 137. So if it's a special exceptions zone, it will say what it is. So for this one, it's no residential development permitted. That's what it is. Let's see, R14. So this is another example for a special exception, which is, there you go.
Well, that's the one we just looked at.
Yes, and it needs to be updated, as you've seen. So it actually, yeah.
Can you go to the institutional down on the bottom left?
Okay, right here.
Yeah. Okay, that's where McEwen's is.
Yes.
No.
That's right.
No, oh no, that's the Maxville Manor. Okay. It's the Maxville Manor.
The next one is right here, MG.
Okay.
Industrial. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's great.
Yes. So I will track back a little. So I'll take off the zoning layer and show you the measuring tool. So let's pick a property. That's pretty simple. So you can measure and draw by clicking here, the ruler. And if you click on the area, you will be able to roughly measure the area like this. So, okay, and to finish, you need to double click. But basically that shows you the area of what I just
Oh,
That's cool.
So this is useful and fun, and it's basically what the counties do to when they draw their severance maps. That's how they do it. They have
okay.
before the survey is done, before it's 100% accurate.
Neat.
Excellent. And here's a book. Oh, no, sorry.
Dash, a quick question. How accurate are the red lines? Because I'm noticing, like in that one that you just looked at, the one that run right above it, it looks like a corner of that house or whatever that building is part of that building is in
Right
on
here.
one side and on the other side. Is that accurate, or could it be just off a little bit, or what?
Yes, it's definitely off. So I asked this question to the counties. It can be really off, between 10 to 50% even. So it's a very general idea.
Okay.
And I find it really depends where it is. I'm not sure for what reason, but I just suspect the way it was drawn in a piecemeal manner over the years. But yeah,
Okay.
a general idea.
That's a really good question, because I think it's these lines that were used to determine property lines in the absence of a survey for the Maxville Water Project. Is that correct? Where to put the connections? Do you know that, Kasia?
Yes, I was contacted by the director at the time to clarify it. I think he was looking at it, but he found he had to hire a surveyor. So I don't know what was the solution to that problem. But it's really not the best means of determining the actual legal lines. It's just
Okay.
it's just a desktop idea.
Okay.
Okay, so that was a tool. Soil, zoning, conservation authority, admin area. So in our township, there's two, Raisin River and South Nation. So the division line is the purple line. So this portion is South Nation. Yeah, if you click, it shows it, and then the remainder is Raisin Region Conservation Authority. So this is mostly useful if there's wetlands or provincially significant woodlands on the property. So
How close can you get to those? You can get fairly close to those properties to look at them and see what.
For the division line or wetlands?
Yeah, just what sort of what the land looks like. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so for example, that's the division line and the wetland. I'm not sure if there's, okay. So let's describe wetlands then. So for the wetlands, we have three types: evaluated provincial, evaluated other, and another type, not evaluated. So the most important one that conservation planners are really concerned with is the provincial evaluated. In terms of setbacks and limitation to construction and so on. So if you have wetlands on your property, that's a big question mark. And
so and the other evaluated, would that be like townships have evaluated those, or conservation authority themselves, or?
From the province, it was a provincial review.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
A lot of wetlands around there.
Yes, there's, sorry. Maybe I'll just zoom out for the whole township to see. That's too much. So.
And the pink is significant, you say?
That's right, yeah.
Huh.
So whenever there's pink, basically nothing can be developed in that area, and it needs a 15-meter setback from that pink area as well.
Jeff, I think that's all Kenyan there, right?
That's pretty much all Kenyan, exactly.
Okay.
That's right behind my house. I'll tell you right now. Judging by the amount of mosquitoes that we have.
But again, with the climate, things are changing quite rapidly. So this is also a desktop review, and whenever there's a concern about wetlands, the Conservation Authority usually requires an environmental impact study to confirm if the wetlands exist, to what extent, what kind of species are there, and everything. So,
Right.
but this is the first trigger point. So municipal drain. So we have a lot of municipal drains. It's all the blue lines that just.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, when you scroll in, you get to see their names.
Okay, let's zoom in.
Except a lot of them say unnamed.
Constructed.
No, that's not true.
I guess Manson just knows it by heart, and that's it.
So we'll sit down with him and get those out of him.
That's right. So yeah, that's very useful when considering development and setbacks. Major utility, hydro and oil, gas pipeline. So there appears to be only one running halfway through North Glengarry. So whenever there's a planning application, it is circulated to the hydro companies, so they provide comments if necessary. And railway, let's see. I need to zoom in on that. So that is the railway in gray here.
Okay, yep.
So the legend's light gray, road network. So that's the hierarchy of roads. It might be difficult to distinguish because it's mostly black lines of almost same thickness, but you get the general idea. And in general, it's either a municipal road or a county road that makes a big distinction of what should be done. Highway exit, well, we know where they are, to the north.
I just used it.
There you go. Okay, civic address. So there was a question about civic addresses.
Mhm.
Okay, let me remove some layers so this can function better. So the civic address will be shown with a red point. Where am I? Okay, it's not showing. I'm not sure.
No, there's lots of red.
Okay, there they are. So, okay, to show the civic address, you need to zoom in quite close. If I zoom out just a little, it's not there because there will be just pure red dots everywhere.
Right.
Okay. Street light. So I actually was looking at this right before the session, and it's not updated. So the street light, it doesn't show for the Kenyon and Main Street. So I will need to tell the counties to update it. And the first three items for the layers concerns township facilities and offices of all kinds, campgrounds, community centers. The list is quite extensive. So, and I know Anne did ask the counties to update a couple of things 2 weeks ago, so it should be up to date. Let me just community points of interest. So this is more tourism and recreation type of uses. So each use or place will have an icon and it says what it is. Cemetery, there it is. Okay, so this is the community maps. Any questions, further questions to this tab?
This is crazy useful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, is the community map, you said that's populated by the counties?
Yes.
With input from the township?
That's right.
Okay. Huh.
So next I will show you the municipal water and sewer map. So since we're in Alexandria, so let's start with the sanitary system or sewer lines. So there's 3 types according to this map. The force main, which is mostly on McCormick Road and to the north. The rest is gravity sewer lines. And okay, water. Water is just one type of line, so it's omnipresent. In Alexandria, let's check out Maxwell if they updated it. Oh, they did. Wonderful. So that looks up to date with the new pipelines. So yeah, that's basically it. I don't think there's service. Oh, okay, that is the connection between Alexandria and Maxwell.
Right.
With the pumps somewhere.
Kasia, can you go back to Alexandria to the property where the seniors village is
Okay.
is supposed to be located?
Yes.
And can you put the water and sewer back up there? I'll be curious as to where the potential connections can come from there.
So yeah, this is the water servicing. I know the parcel. Where's the parcel? So you see the parcel fabric. It's just on the east edge of the parcel.
Okay.
So this is actually the same line as the urban service limits line, and then sanitary is the yellow line right here. It's hard to see, but that's what it is. But we all know.
So where's the sanitary up in the industrial part there then?
Okay, sanitary. I'm just going to take off the parcel and take off water. It goes all the way around.
Okay.
Well, for the most part, until here.
For the most part. Okay.
Yeah.
But do the town boundary goes that is that big square, is it not?
Yes, so that's the urban settlement.
Okay, there's the urban settlement boundary there. Okay, right. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and then what else we have? We have manholes,
Oh my
black
God.
point. So all public works items, water valves. Again, quite detailed. Fire hydrants. So it looks safe to me.
Wow, this is impressive.
Excellent. All right, so if we have no more questions for this tab, I'm going to move forward to official plan. So the official plan in effect, 2018 plan, and it's similar to zoning. This tab is simpler in that it contains almost exclusively only the official plan designations. Let's wait for it to load. Okay, so splash screen. So let's do a test. I'm going to use 15 Alexander Street West in Maxwell, which is, let's see, 15 Alexander Street West. Okay. So to pull up the layers, here it's different. So this might be confusing because it's not the same configuration as the other maps, but the layer list is at the bottom. So you click on there to display them. And right now it has all the different designations basically on there, and with some additional data like hospitals, utility lines, railway, sewage lagoons, so on. So this property that I searched, 15 Alexander Street in Maxwell, is designated. So let's try to read this map. Residential district. It's the pink zone. And to display the legend all together, you click on the icon beside the layers. It's blue, I believe. So it gives you a list of all the items, the road hierarchy, and the zone, the designations. I'll just do one more address to demonstrate. 420 Main Street. Oh, this is Alexandria, so 420 Alexandria, Main Street South. Okay, this one is a different designation. So it's orange. What is orange? Commercial. So this is a commercial district designation. Severance. Okay, a very fun tool is to see all the severance that are ongoing or from the past. So let me zoom out and close some things. Okay. So for example, here you are able to see the former severances B7218 from 2018. So it just shows you how the lands were severed. And I think it goes as far back as 2018 to display severances. Sorry, 2011. Before that, it's in paper file format. Any questions for this one?
So is this, so what, this is different than the other one, Kasia? And was this developed differently, or was it this a separate development, or what?
I know the counties are transitioning to different formatting or this interface. So I believe the one we saw will become this way because this, it changed about 2 months ago. The official plan used to have the layers on this side, but it just changed. So I'm not sure when it's going to happen, but quite soon. And what else do we have?
Yeah, Kasia?
Yes?
George.
Hi, George.
Got a question for you. Do you have a layer which shows existing ongoing applications?
So no, unfortunately, this is not separated. It's merged with the former applications. So you would need to basically do a visual check of where you think the existing application might be, for example, for severances.
Or I would call the planning department.
Oh, of course, or you can call, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So there. So if you click on the severance, it will give you the acreage for the several and retained parcels. Any other questions for the designations?
No, but when you get rid of that menu and you look in the bottom left-hand corner, I don't know how people know this, you see it, your actual spot on the map, like 74 degrees south or whatever that is.
Ah, yes. Yeah, degrees.
It's very precise.
Yeah.
That's very useful.
Kasia, I just going back to the property lines that are around these properties, the red ones. Is there will they eventually be updated, like those people who actually have surveys? Will this technology capture that information so that it can be more precise?
That's a good one. That's a good question. I believe for the properties that do have a reference plan or survey, it is much more accurate than properties that do not. I'm not sure how the counties are doing this. It's a question I need to pass on to the counties. But I know for a fact that in other jurisdictions, like in Southwestern Ontario, it's the same thing. It's the parcel fabric gives you a general idea. It's never 100% accurate. It's
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so that is basically it. If you have any other questions in general about the website or the mapping or how anything works.
I think this will be a very valuable tool, obviously for the township, for yourself, but also for the public.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. So I'm going to do my best to make this tool known, and the planning page as well, that all the information is there now together. And we can encourage people to look things on their own, but I'm here to help, of course.
Excellent.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great tool for sure.
That's really fun.
Fun.
Fun in a planner sort of way, right?
Yeah.
Kasia?
Yeah.
Kasia, there was I think a couple members of the public on there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wondering if they have any questions.
Members of the public, any other questions?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't have any questions, but thank you very much for the presentation, Kasia.
Thank you, George.
It was good. And you know, I have a lot of experience with using these things, or trying to use them. And from what you're showing me here, this one is pretty user friendly.
That's true. I agree. It's not too early.
It's a good one. Anyway,
For any real estate agents, my goodness, wouldn't this be handy?
Yes, I did invite all the real estate agents I could think of in North Glengarry. I hope they will at least watch the recording. So.
Well, there's a very important one on right now.
Thank you. It's been very helpful.
Any questions, Doreen?
No, thank you. I really enjoyed it. I look at the one on Geo Warehouse often, and this is even more precise than that. So I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome. All right.
Thank you, Kasia. Thanks very much. Much appreciated.
Thank you. So everyone have a good evening, and I'm going to adjourn this meeting.
Okay, thanks, Kasia. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, and nice haircut, Karma.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy.
The girls of the office today were very excited. All the short-haired ones, anyway.